Next up in our top 5 wins series is Riddick Bowe, a heavyweight talent so gifted that, on his best nights, he looked completely unstoppable. Towering size, fast hands, ruthless combinations, and a willingness to trade made Bowe one of the most dangerous champions boxing has ever seen. These 5 wins capture Bowe at his terrifying peak, nights when skill met brutality, champions were pushed to their limits, and heavyweight history was written in real time. When Riddick Bowe was locked in, no one in the division was safe. Number 5. 20 April 1991 versus Tony Tubbs. This is a win that makes the list as much for what it revealed about Riddick Bowe as for how it looked on the night. Facing the slick, experienced former champion Tony Tubbs in Atlantic City, Bowe was still a heavyweight in development, rather than the finished destroyer he would later become. Tubbs boxed cleverly early, using sharp movement, ring IQ, and defensive subtlety to frustrate Bowe and disrupt his rhythm. Many observers felt Tubbs outboxed Bowe across long stretches, and the decision would later be viewed as controversial in parts of the boxing press. What swung the fight officially was Bowe's size, power, and growing command of the jab, which allowed him to apply steady pressure, force exchanges, and bank rounds as the contest wore on. Bowe earned a unanimous decision over 10 rounds, with scorecards reading 96-94, 97-94, and 96-94. While not a dominant performance, it was a crucial one. The fight proved Bowe could stay disciplined, go the distance, and grind out a result against a seasoned, tricky veteran, lessons that would serve him well on the road to the heavyweight title. It also speaks to a wider truth about Bowe's career. Outside his elite peak wins, the depth of his resume thins quickly. That this bout makes his top 5 is less an indictment of the performance itself, and more a reflection of how concentrated Bowe's greatest nights truly were. Number 4. 6 February 1993 versus Michael Dokes. This was meant to be a routine first defense. Instead, it became a brutal reminder of just how dangerous Riddick Bowe was at his physical peak. Fresh off dethroning Evander Holyfield to become undisputed champion, Bowe returned at Madison Square Garden to defend the WBA and IBF titles against former champion Michael Dokes. Dokes entered with a compelling backstory. Once a heavyweight champion himself, he had rebuilt his career after substance abuse issues and lengthy setbacks, earning respect for his resilience and late career comeback. But by fight week, doubts surrounded his preparation, conditioning, and readiness. And inside the ring, those concerns were exposed almost immediately. From the opening bell, Bowe attacked with ruthless intent. He overwhelmed Dokes with heavy combinations, backing him into the ropes and forcing a standing 8 count midway through the first round. Dokes showed little resistance as Bowe continued to unload, landing punch after punch without meaningful reply. At 2:19 of the opening round, referee Joe Santarpia stepped in and stopped the fight, awarding Bowe a first-round technical knockout. The ending was met with boos and controversy. Dokes protested furiously, while the crowd voiced its displeasure and commentators questioned whether the bout should have been sanctioned at all. Yet the punch statistics told a stark story. Bowe landed more than 4 times as many power shots, and Dokes absorbed a sustained beating without defending himself. In truth, this win ranks highly less for competitive drama, and more as a snapshot of Bowe's terrifying prime. A champion with size, speed, and power so overwhelming that even experienced former title holders could be rendered helpless in minutes. Number 3. 11 March 1995 versus Herbie Hyde. This was chaos, courage, and controversy, rolled into one unforgettable heavyweight war. With his path to the major titles blocked after losing to Evander Holyfield, Riddick Bowe took a calculated risk by challenging undefeated WBO champion Herbie Hyde at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas. Hyde entered as champion and unbeaten, but widely dismissed. Brash and confident, he labeled Bowe overrated and promised to outbox him before stopping him late. Early on, he backed up the talk. Using speed, movement, and sharp combinations, Hyde danced around the bigger man and clearly took the opening 2 rounds, making Bowe look heavy-footed and frustrated. But the fight turned violently in the 3rd. Hyde suddenly hit the canvas under strange circumstances, ruled a slip, though he was visibly shaken. From that moment, the bout descended into a relentless siege. Bowe sensed weakness and began walking Hyde down, unloading heavy combinations and uppercuts that repeatedly sent the champion to the floor. Hyde's heart was undeniable. Time after time, he dragged himself back up, battered, exhausted, and unsteady, refusing to quit. By the middle rounds, it became a test not of skill, but survival. Hyde scored brief moments of success, even staggering Bowe, but every rally only seemed to invite further punishment. Knockdown followed knockdown, 7 in total, in one of the most punishing heavyweight title fights of the 1990s. Even when Hyde's corner threw in the towel, referee Richard Steele waved it away under the rules, forcing the punishment to continue. Finally, midway through the 6th round, Bowe flattened Hyde once more. This time, there was no escape. Hyde was counted out at 2:25 of the round, ending a brutal contest that showcased both Bowe's crushing power and Hyde's extraordinary toughness. It wasn't a pretty win, but it was an emphatic one. In dismantling an undefeated champion through sheer force and attrition, Bowe reminded the heavyweight division that when he applied pressure, very few men could survive it. Number 2. 4 November 1995 versus Evander Holyfield, 3. The final chapter. The final act of one of heavyweight boxing's greatest trilogies delivered its most violent and decisive ending. Riddick Bowe and Evander Holyfield entered their third meeting with everything already shared between them: classic battles, disputed moments, and championship history. But this time, there would be no judges. By 1995, both men were fighting for legacy rather than titles. Holyfield, having briefly retired after losing to Michael Moorer, returned with questions surrounding his health, but proved his resilience with a gritty win over Ray Mercer. Bowe, meanwhile, had rebounded from inconsistency to capture and defend the WBO title, though the belt was deliberately kept off the table for this rubber match. From the opening bell, the final chapter lived up to its name. The fight was savage, exhausting, and unforgiving, the most brutal bout of the trilogy. Both men were dropped, both visibly hurt, and neither willing to yield. Holyfield, clearly drained and later revealed to be suffering from hepatitis A, still summoned extraordinary resolve. In round 6, he delivered one of the most shocking moments of Bowe's career, flooring him with a left hook, the first knockdown Bowe had ever suffered as a professional. But where Holyfield's heart carried him into deep waters, Bowe's size and power ultimately decided the outcome. In the 8th round, Bowe turned the fight with authority, knocking Holyfield down twice with compact, punishing right hands. Though Holyfield rose from the first knockdown, the second proved too much. Referee Joe Cortez stepped in, stopping the contest and handing Holyfield the first stoppage loss of his storied career. It was a defining victory for Bowe, not just because he settled the trilogy, but because he did what no one else had managed: break Evander Holyfield down. In a rivalry filled with greatness, this was the night Riddick Bowe delivered the final, unforgettable statement. Number 1. 13 November 1992 versus Evander Holyfield, undisputed heavyweight championship. This was the night Riddick Bowe arrived at the very summit of heavyweight boxing, and did so in one of the greatest fights the division has ever seen. With Mike Tyson removed from the picture, the undisputed crown was firmly held by Evander Holyfield. But doubts lingered. Critics questioned the strength of Holyfield's reign after defenses against aging legends and a scare against Burt Cooper. Riddick Bowe, undefeated, younger, bigger, and brutally confident, was viewed as the ultimate test, the opponent who could either validate Holyfield completely or expose the limits of his championship run. From the opening bell, it was clear this was no routine title defense. Bowe's size, strength, and accuracy immediately troubled Holyfield, who struggled to match him in extended exchanges. Punch statistics told a revealing story. Bowe landed with frightening efficiency, consistently beating Holyfield to the heavier shots, while imposing his physicality over 12 relentless rounds. The fight reached legendary status in round 10, a round now etched into boxing history. Bowe opened with savage combinations that appeared close to overwhelming the champion, only for Holyfield to summon an extraordinary rally, firing back with furious combinations of his own. The crowd, commentators, and fighters themselves were caught in a moment of pure heavyweight drama. Bowe seized control again in round 11, battering Holyfield with sustained combinations before flooring him with a crushing right hand. Though badly hurt, Holyfield showed remarkable courage to survive the round, setting up a desperate final push. Knowing he needed a knockout, Holyfield emptied the tank in round 12. But Bowe stood firm, absorbing the assault and closing the fight on his own terms. When the scores were read, 117 to 110, 117 to 110, and 115 to 112, there was no controversy. Riddick Bowe was the new, undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. The bout earned the Ring Magazine's Fight of the Year, with its unforgettable 10th round also named Round of the Year. More than a victory, this was a coronation, the defining win of Bowe's career, and one of the finest heavyweight championship performances ever recorded.